When it comes to our digestive health, this can wreak havoc on our digestive system because by consuming multiple meals in very close proximity, this can put a large strain on our digestive system. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be debunking the myth that you need to eat 6 small meals per day in order to lose weight. But before I start, you guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, ding ding ding. And if you don't want to watch the entire video, I will be including timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to the section that you want. Now onto the topic at hand. The myth that you need to eat 6 small meals per day in order to lose weight is something that was started by and perpetuated by the bodybuilding community. And the truth is, there is simply no scientific evidence to support the claim that eating 6 small meals per day is going to yield better or worse results than consuming 1 meal per day when calories are equated. And one of the main reasons why this myth still persists to this day goes back to my earlier example about the bodybuilding community. Back in the 1980s, bodybuilding really started to pick up steam and became a lot more popular. And because bodybuilders are very, very lean and muscular, people wanted to know what exactly were they doing to achieve those physiques. And most bodybuilders, they are going to consume anywhere from 6 to 8 small meals per day in order to achieve that look. And one of the reasons why bodybuilders do this is because to consume the amount of protein that they need and the amount of calories that they need to achieve their physique, it is going to be much easier to spread that out over 6 to 8 meals rather than consuming it over the course of 2 to 4 meals. So people started to catch on to this and they fell into the trap of believing that that is what you need to do in order to lose fat. And the truth is, if you are on an 1800 calorie diet and you are trying to lose fat, it doesn't matter if you consume all 1800 calories in one sitting or if you spread them out over 6 meals and consume 300 calories at each meal, it is going to yield the exact same results. And not only is it going to yield the exact same results when it comes to fat loss, but when it comes to our digestive health, this can wreak havoc on our digestive system because by consuming multiple meals in very close proximity, this can put a large strain on our digestive system. We have this process called the migrating motor complex, and the migrating motor complex is essentially a chemical cleansing of our stomach. What happens is the migrating motor complex is going to trigger peristaltic contractions, which are these wave-like contractions that go on in our intestines and allow food to pass through our body. And this is going to last anywhere from 90 minutes to 4 hours depending on the size of the meal. If you are consuming something very small like a salad, then it's going to be closer to that 90-minute mark, whereas if you're consuming something very large and heavy like a very large steak, it's going to be closer to that 4-hour mark. And one of the things with regard to the migrating motor complex is if you consume a meal before it has had a chance to complete its task of cleansing your stomach, that is going to put a halt to the migrating motor complex, and the food is going to just sit in your stomach and ferment rather than being cleaned out. And this could have terrible outcome for your digestive health, and it could potentially lead to something like SIBO or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. When it comes to the migrating motor complex, there are basically 4 phases that occur. The first phase, the food essentially just sits in your stomach and churns very, very lightly, and there's very, very little and almost no activity whatsoever. That is going to last anywhere from 40 to 60% of the total time that it is going to take for the migrating motor complex to perform its task. Then is phase 2. In phase 2, this is when light and irregular peristaltic contractions occur. Peristaltic contractions are these wave-like motions that move food along our digestive tract, and this is going to take anywhere from 20 to 30% of the total time of the motor migrating complex. Then we have phase 3. In phase 3, this is where the most activity is going to occur. In phase 3, you are going to have peristaltic contractions, and they are going to be at their peak activity. And this is going to last anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And then lastly, we have phase 4. In phase 4, activity is going to start to slow down a lot, and your peristaltic contractions are going to slow down and also become more irregular, just like they were in phase 2. And then once phase 4 has been completed, that is the end of the migrating motor complex. Now, if you consume a large meal prior to all 4 phases being completed, again, that is going to put a halt to the migrating motor complex, and this could wreak havoc on your digestive system. So now that we have a little bit of understanding about how our digestive system works, what would be the optimal amount of meals to consume? Well, there is no right or wrong answer because it is going to depend on a personal preference, and also it is going to depend on your goal. Whether your goal is to look better, feel better, or perform better, this is going to dictate how many meals would be optimal for you to consume. Let's say your goal is to look better, so you want to improve your aesthetics. Well, what exactly is your goal? Do you want to build muscle or do you want to lose fat? If it is your main objective to optimize muscle, in order to build muscle, you need to have your muscle protein synthesis exceed your muscle protein breakdown. And in order to do that, what you need to do is consume an adequate amount of protein. So what exactly is an adequate amount? Well, at any one given sitting, anywhere from 30 to 50 grams of protein is going to be ideal to elicit muscle protein synthesis. You can consume more and achieve a little bit better results. However, if you consume twice as much protein, you're not going to be able to achieve twice as much muscle protein synthesis. So it's not going to be quite as effective. And also it's going to become dependent on your size. If you are somebody who is very, very small, you're going to want to get closer to that lower end of that range. Whereas if you're somebody who is very, very muscular to begin with, then you're going to want to get higher on that 30 to 50 gram range. But again, this is just a general guideline. Some people can consume more and achieve a greater muscle protein synthesis from consuming more protein. But for the average person, 30 to 50 grams of protein split over the course of 4 to 5 meals is going to be optimal when it comes to building muscle. Now, another thing with regard to this feeding window is a lot of people have this false impression that as soon as you finish your workout, you need to consume food as soon as possible. Otherwise, you are going to waste all of your gains that you made in the gym. And the truth is, there is no validity to the anabolic window. In fact, there have been multiple scientific studies that have disproven this, and the anabolic window is actually up to 24 hours. So unless you plan on fasting for an entire 24 hours after your workout, you don't need to worry about losing all the gains you made in the gym. As long as you're consuming an adequate amount of protein and spreading it out evenly over the course of the day, you can expect great results when it comes to building muscle. Now, what if your goal is to burn fat? Well, when it comes to fat burning, the amount of meals that you consume is going to be completely irrelevant, because at the end of the day, when it comes to fat loss, it's all going to come down to calories in versus calories out. If you are in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. If you're in a caloric surplus, you're going to gain weight. And if the amount of calories you take in is equal to that of your total daily energy expenditure, your weight is going to stay exactly the same. So let's say your maintenance calories is 2,300 calories and you want to burn 1 pound per week. Well, we know that 500 calories per day is going to equal 3,500 calories over the course of a week, and 3,500 calories equates to 1 pound of fat. So if you are in a 500 calorie deficit, that would equate to an 1,800 calorie diet throughout the course of a day. Now, let's say you want to consume all 1,800 calories in one sitting. That is going to yield the exact same results than if you were to consume 300 calories times 6 meals throughout the day. So when it comes to fat loss, a lot of it is going to come down to personal preference. Do you prefer to eat one large meal? Do you prefer to eat 6 small meals? Or do you prefer to eat anything in between? Whatever you prefer, do that, because as long as calories are equated, you are going to get the exact same results. And what if your goal isn't to look better? What if you do not care about aesthetics? All you care about is optimizing your health. Well, when it comes to optimizing your health, ideally what you would want to do is anywhere from 1 to 4 meals, and you would want to spread it at least 4 hours apart. That way you give the migrating motor complex enough time for it to do its job. Because again, if you consume a meal before the migrating motor complex has completed its job, that is going to put a halt to the migrating motor complex, and you're not going to be able to properly cleanse out your stomach, and it's just going to sit there and rot in your belly. So if you are trying to optimize health, the amount of meals that you consume throughout the day isn't as important as how much of a break you give yourself between those meals. If you are consuming very, very heavy meals, ideally you would want to give yourself at least 4 hours in between each of those meals. Whereas if you're consuming very, very small meals, you can get away with 90 minutes to 2 hours in between your meals. So it's going to come down to personal preference. If you prefer to have very, very light meals and spread your meals out more evenly throughout the day, go ahead and do that. If you prefer to have larger meals and spread them out farther apart, then go ahead and do that. Because as long as you consume your meals far enough apart that you allow your body time to finish cleansing itself, it's not going to matter whether you eat 1 meal or 4 meals. Now, what if your goal is neither health nor aesthetics? What if you want to improve performance? Well, when it comes to performance, what I found for myself and my professional athletes is anywhere from 2 to 5 meals per day is going to be optimal. And with regard to this particular type of goal, if it is your goal to improve performance, I would recommend keeping a food and training log and see exactly how you feel on these different splits. You can try 2 large meals per day. You could try 5 smaller meals. See how it affects your performance. For me personally, I only consume 2 meals per day. I generally eat at around 7 to 8 in the morning, and then I will eat again after my workout at around 7 to 8 o'clock at night. And I find that that works wonders for me. Again though, for you, it might be different. What you can do is keep a training log and see how you feel. If by consuming 2 large meals per day, you find that you're not as strong in the gym or you don't have as much endurance as you normally have, then try 3 meals, try 4, try 5. Try a different split every single day and see which one works best for you. What you want to do is figure out what works best for you and go with that. Whether your goal is to improve your strength, your speed, your power, your endurance, your flexibility, agility, coordination, balance, see what exactly is required most from your sport and see how many meals you need to eat in order to elicit the greatest response possible. But keep track of everything. Keep track of how many repetitions, sets, what type of weight are you using. The more numbers that you can have at your disposal, the better it's going to be, because the more numbers you have, the more information you have at your disposal to determine what is going to be right for your body. But there is no right or wrong. It's going to be different on an individual to individual basis. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to make more of these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.